one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps because they know what happens next. So without further ado,
Free smoke.
look. Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing with admit to me.
That's exactly how I feel. I feel like I just got spat on. I feel like they just pulled out the whole goddamn cup on me. Man, I'm stressed out. P&B, every day we live. Hey, every day Uso is stressing the
Welcome back to another episode of the recap on Saints World. How's everybody doing out there tonight? WrestleMania 41 is here. Night one. I was about to say it came, it went. Night one of WrestleMania 41 is coming. I appreciate that they do the 2 nights at WrestleMania. I remember back when I was a wee little boy and I couldn't actually watch WrestleManias because WWE was on a pay-per-view service back in the day. And then as I got older, sometimes my homie would have the pay-per-view service, but sometimes he wouldn't. So we just caught the replays on Monday Night Raw. And then I remember when WrestleMania became accessible because the WWE app. I wonder how old you are if you remember the WWE app before it became Peacock, or it went to Peacock or whatever. And I remember when it first transitioned to Peacock and people was like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. That has probably been one of the best things that has ever happened to WWE. WWE on Peacock is amazing. I wish SmackDown was live on Peacock, not like the replay. I wish the actual show was live on SmackDown. I mean live on Peacock, but I understand Fox owns the rights to show it live, so whatever. But I also remember when I was a wee little boy and then I became a teenager and whatever. And I remember when WrestleMania was just one night. And obviously as the pandemic, one of the things that came out of the pandemic, I believe it was out of the pandemic, is a 2-night WrestleMania. And it's been off ever since. I like the 2 nights. I appreciated that one night that was like a long 6-hour event. I appreciated that. I do. I have nothing bad to say about how the format used to be as far as the length of the show and that it was one night. But the 2-night thing is definitely dope. You basically commit an entire weekend to WrestleMania. I love that. Then you got the Hall of Fame. Shout out to all the people inducted into the Hall of Fame last night, or it wasn't last night, it was on Friday night. But shout out to all the Hall of Famers. I'm not going to remember all of the names, but the shout out specifically, some that I do. Well, I know Lex Luthor was one. I remember playing WWE games on the Game Boy Advance when I was a child. And Lex Luthor was the dude that I was using all the time. But shout out to Michelle McCool. Shout out to Triple H. All the Hall of Famers. Triple H was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. I think he was like my second favorite behind The Rock. I didn't love anybody more than I loved The Rock. The Rock was my guy. But it was The Rock. It was Triple H was just badass, bro. I always done like the badasses, yo. Like my favorite wrestlers was like The Rock, Triple H, Batista, Randy Orton. While I liked all, because I liked all of them because I just love wrestling. So I appreciate all of the wrestlers. My specific favorites, those were my specific favorites growing up. Triple H's whole gimmick of the cerebral assassin, the king of kings, like all of that shit was fire to me. Like Triple H knew how to put on a spectacle. One of my favorite things about Triple H though was I just thought he was a complete package of a wrestler. Like he could go in, he could put on a great match in the ring. He was great on the mic. He was great at selling a story. Like I thought Triple H was one of, when I was growing up, I always wanted Triple H to win when he was in a feud. I think the only times I went against Triple H, it wasn't when he was in Evolution. When he was in Evolution and the Batista Evolution thing was going on, I don't want to say I was as immersed at that time as I became later on down the line. Like my era of wrestling that like I was really deep into, like I did grow up watching The Rock, so I did watch The Rock, Stone Cold. I did watch that era, but I was so young I couldn't tell you every single thing that happened if it was outside of The Rock. Even then, I didn't even get to see the entirety of The Rock's career. I feel like I did because I've been watching The Rock for so long now, and I done watched all through his highlights, all the documentaries, and I remember the matches and what I want to say, because I was watching I watched The Rock before he went to Hollywood Rock also. I watched The Rock and Stone Cold as a kid, but when I really became like older and could understand what I was watching and could, remember, and, I really became a fan, was probably the John Cena era of wrestling. That's when the Attitude, because I did live through the Attitude era and I did watch the Attitude era, but I don't think that was my era as much as it was I got to watch the back end of that era. My era was more so the Super Cena era. You had DX, a lot of DX, a lot of Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Batista, Randy Orton, Edge, Undertaker. You had Kane, Big Show, ECW's, One Night Stand. I remember that shit. The RVDs, Rey Mysterios, Chavo Guerreros. Who was the other Guerrero? Vicky Guerrero. I've been a part of a lot of different eras of wrestling. I guess they call that the PG era. The PG era of wrestling. I don't know what you would call it right in between the PG era and the Attitude era. I don't know what you would actually call that era that was in between those two. And then the era after the PG era, I don't even know what you would call that either. Like, I'm pretty sure it is a name that people call it. I just couldn't tell you it right now because I'm not obsessed with things of that nature. But anyways, if all you've known is, because I got so far off track. If all you've known is 2-night WrestleManias, shout out to you, because the 2-night WrestleMania format is pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie to you, especially if you're a huge WrestleMania fan like myself. Now, this could end up being a long show, so I'm gonna try to. I already done rambled enough, so I'm try to get into the show because there's a lot to say about a lot of matches and how my thoughts and takeaways from night one of WrestleMania. I'll probably rate the overall night one. I'll rate night two, and then I'll put it all together and rate the whole show as a whole when it happens. But that'll happen at the end of the show, and then at the end of the next episode and the one after that. But nonetheless, I do want to start off by saying, though, before we get into the actual matches, I don't really feel as though this was a great crowd for a WrestleMania crowd. And I don't like when that is even a topic of discussion at a pay-per-view as big as WrestleMania. And I don't even really like that I had to say a pay-per-view as big as it's WrestleMania. It is the pay-per-view of pay-per-views for the wrestling industry. So if one of the things you have to think about is the crowd not being as loud, that's kind of a problem. And I know that we always try to I know it's always excuses out there as to why the crowd might not be as loud or as energetic or as active as they could be. Like, I hear it all the time, different reasons. But this is still WrestleMania. You have to put that aside. I done seen people put aside common sense to be ignorant. Like, I done seen people throw away all type of logic, morality, and common sense just to have a moment of ignorance. So I don't understand why it was so hard for... You paid all that money to go to WrestleMania and you couldn't put aside the situation and all those other things to be positive, to be loud and active. This is so... One of the things you might not know, well, you definitely don't know because it didn't get uploaded. I recorded a WrestleMania prediction show video, and it was 2.5 hours long. And my computer was fucking up all day, so I tried to upload it on my phone. My phone was it was too big a file for my phone to upload. My phone kept overheating. When we finally got that shit, well, not even uploaded, to get it, like, for it to get downloaded and like all the process of it becoming a video before it gets uploaded on YouTube took forever. Then once we finally got it like turned into a video to be uploaded on YouTube, I started uploading this video at around 1 in the afternoon. No, 12 in the afternoon. Thinking it would be up by like 3 in the afternoon. It was not up. It was not even halfway done by the first, halfway through the Jey Uso match. It wasn't even halfway done. So I was like, yeah, I'm scrapping all of that. I'm scrapping all of that. It doesn't even matter anymore. That's where I was at with it. Am I happy that I spent 2 hours and a half recording a show that I ultimately had to throw away? No, I am not. But that is just my reality at the moment. So it is what it is. We move on. We move on. But the crowd could have been better. That's all I'm going to say. I think the crowd could have been better. I don't think this was... Because I love WrestleMania. I love wrestling. WrestleMania to me is the Super Bowl of wrestling. And to me, personally, the Super Bowl and WrestleMania are my two favorite big-time sporting events. Really, WrestleMania I like more than the Super Bowl because my favorite team's not going to always be in the Super Bowl. WrestleMania is, if you love wrestling, you love the WWE, and you love all of the characters and personalities within the WWE, WrestleMania is just like an escape, in my opinion, of a bunch of wrestling. Now, you might not always agree with the results. I don't always agree with the results. You might not enjoy the results or every match because your favorite didn't win or you just didn't feel like a match really hit that hard. I get all of that. But all in all, WrestleMania is supposed to be an escape. And I hate to say this because I hate that this is a reality, but the crowd does play a huge part in in the atmosphere of these events, because if they're not cheering, if they're not up and they're not energetic, people who sit at home and watch this, which is more people that actually sit at home, more people sit and watch the show than actually go to the show. When we can see at our cribs that like, oh damn, this crowd ain't really, as energetic and hype as we would like them to, we can feel that at the crib. And I don't think fans like to take credit for a lot of shit, but they don't like to understand and realize and take credit for the fact that the WWE is putting a lot of faith in your hands that you will, because you're a big part of this event. They're putting a lot of faith in your hands, the crowd, the fans, that you are going to help make this event feel like WrestleMania. And I just don't think Las Vegas really delivered tonight. And I don't understand why, because it's not like you was outside in bad weather. You were in Allegiant Stadium. I'm sure it was an air-conditioned type of feel. Every wrestling show I done went to, it was pretty cold in the arenas anyways. I don't know why I failed to bring a hoodie every time I go to these events. But nonetheless, That's just my little rant about the WrestleMania crowd. Now, to kick it off, night one kicked off with Jey Uso taking on Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, and it was a now. So when I was on when I did the prediction show, one of the things I talked about was I'm interested to see how a match like this can go with Jey Uso and Gunther, because they have the style of wrestlers that they are is so completely different. And one of the things to me, one of the things that makes Gunther great, or some of his best matches, are always with dudes who pretty much have his wrestling style. Brawler, bruiser type of, heavy-handed type of wrestler. So his matches with Drew and Sheamus or the Bobby Lashleys of the world, he would have great matches with those type of guys, because those type of guys pretty much wrestle like he does. All of those guys are great in-ring competitors. I think all of those guys are actually better in-ring wrestlers than Gunther. But the thing that all 5 of them do, Lashley, Drew, Sheamus, Gunther, they like very, very physical wrestlers. Like when they wrestle in their matches, you can see the physicality throughout the match. Now, I didn't know how that was going to translate or look with Jey, and it's not because I didn't think that those two styles could clash and put on a great match, because we've seen styles like this clash before. My whole thing is, and this is not a slight at Jey, but Jey is not the most polished singles wrestler yet. And as much as we love Gunther and we talk about, oh, he the ring general and he bringing prestige back to wrestling, as good as he is in the ring, I don't really think he is a guy who can. Gunther, to me, he done had good matches, but to me, in the matches that I feel like I'm finna disrespect Gunther, I really don't want to. I'm not trying to disrespect Gunther, but Gunther is good in the ring. He is a good in-ring competitor, but I wouldn't say that he is like an AJ Styles, Seth Rollins type of in-ring competitor. So now Gunther is a great solo competitor because he's been a solos competitor for a while now. That was what I was interested in, though. Could Gunther lead this dance, knowing he was the more experienced solo competitor? Now, a lot of people who disrespected Jey going into this match, I really don't understand. Well, I saw Triple H talk about this, basically how it's 2 different type of fans. You know, it's the fans who are actually wrestling fans who just love wrestling. Yeah, you might have your favorite and whatnot, but you just love wrestling. So you're not getting mad, throwing a hissy fit and whatnot every time somebody that's not your favorite wins. That's my words, basically. I'm paraphrasing what he was saying. He said it nicely. I'm just giving you the real. But then it's that other fan who you have to hear, but you have to tune out. And that's the loud, annoying, crybaby ass, oh, you're burying my favorite wrestler. That type of fan who is just annoying, who take personal shots at wrestlers, they get so far, they done lost the plot. They go so far outside of storytelling. These wrestlers and whatnot are selling you a story, and this type of moronic ass fan takes it personal to where they take personal shots at these wrestlers. That type of fan is the type of fan you have to ignore, and that's the type of fan I probably will have to address later on in the show and tomorrow night on after that WrestleMania also. But nonetheless, that type of fan was so loud about hating Jey Uso, and I like Triple H's response to, we can listen to those, or we can listen to the 15,000 plus fans who love Jey Uso, who yeet every time he come out. Now, Jey Uso had a great entrance to the Royal Rumble, to WrestleMania. Great entrance. Like, I feel like the crowd could have been even more hype. Like, I feel like maybe the hype as the crowd was all night was probably the main event. But aside from the main event, it was probably the Jey Uso match when the WrestleMania was kicking off, which is natural. You probably would have the most energy when the show was about to start. But, you know, it's very interesting to me that the WWE could do a show in LA. And I hear people say all the time, you know, LA got a lot of stuff going on, so, you know, they don't go to football games unless you like USC or some shit like that. They don't go to basketball games unless you're the Lakers. But somehow, every time WWE goes to LA for a show, the crowd is phenomenal. So it's not like it's one of these big city, big market type of things where if they go to that city, the people in that city too bougie to enjoy wrestling. That's not what it is. And maybe Vegas will be better tomorrow night. But I just feel like the crowd would have went insane in LA or in a different city that appreciates WrestleMania and understands what WrestleMania is. And like I said, it's not that it's a major market thing because or like a big name city because they have it in Miami. They don't have WrestleManias in Miami, and it's great when it's in Miami. Like the crowd in Vegas was just, I don't know, man. I wasn't feeling it. But Jey Uso had a great entrance, but I'm glad that Triple H spoke on that, how you have to ignore that type of fan. Now, that type of fan would not be happy with the result of this match. Now, on the prediction show, I picked Jey to win this match, but I talked about how it took me basically all the way up till yesterday morning for me to come to the conclusion that I thought Jey was going to win this match. Because at the end of the day, I think what got me around to picking Jey was that Triple H do seem like the type of dude that enjoys these like big, soft, hug, cry type of moments. Like he liked creating those type of moments on the biggest stages with his baby faces. That's like a consistent thing for him. And I understand that's a thing throughout wrestling, but Triple H pretty much is every big time major baby face type of decision that has to be made, like win, that's on the table. I can't remember too many heels that have won those big, like the whole world is watching this feud type of thing. Like Cody Rhodes. If Cody Rhodes lose tomorrow, that'll probably be the first major heel win in the Triple H era, in my opinion. Because I don't think heel Roman Reigns, I mean, Triple H couldn't fuck that right. Even though I'll get to that later on in the night, so I don't even want to spoil anything I say regarding that. But as far as like these big feel-good type of moments, like Sami Zayn beating Gunther last year, Triple H seemed to love doing that. Now, that's what probably ultimately I think got me around to believing that Jey was going to win this. Which is funny because even with The Rock, you know, running shit at the top and whatever, Roman being like the biggest star in the company, it still was hard for me to get around to believing Jey Uso was going to win this match. Not because I didn't think Jey Uso was capable or credible or should have won or something like that, because I think one of the things that annoys me about how people disrespected Jey Uso coming into this match is that type of fan that Triple H is talking about. But for one, that type of fan is the same type of fan that's jumping from wrestler to wrestler. They ride that wave when it's at its highest, and then they jump off when the wave get a little shaky to them because they want to hop on the next biggest wave. They fair weather fans. And then they always got these dissertations and these long ass paragraphs and these dumbass think pieces that make absolutely no sense. But you know it's thousands of people that think just like them because they are adolescent minded individuals, whether it be teenagers or people that's like in their early 20s or whatever. The product is consumed by a lot. But one thing that I always say is if you go to a wrestling show, the wrestling show, when you're there, which is very interesting when you see what happened tonight, but I done been to wrestling shows and then watched the wrestling show back on TV, and I saw people talk. Well, no. I went to a wrestling show, right? And then I remember going home and getting on Twitter, or even being on Twitter while at the show at times. Even though it's kind of hard to be on Twitter when you at the show because you're so immersed in it. But you can, throughout the little breaks in the action, get on there and whatnot, especially when you like going to get something to eat or something like that, even though most people at the show go get their food before the show starts. But I've always said what people say on Twitter is not reality. Like, I done been at shows where people on Twitter be like, oh, the crowd clearly don't like Brock Lesnar, yada, yada, yada. Every single show that I've ever went to where Brock Lesnar was there, the crowd went fucking ape shit. Like, every single time. I've never went to a show where Brock Lesnar showed up and the crowd didn't go crazy. That motherfucker gets a pop every single time I have been to a show that he is going to. Not to mention, I remember years back when I went to a show in Charlotte, a pay-per-view in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I remember when I was on Twitter, that's when I first started really going to shows, especially pay-per-views. And I remember getting on Twitter at the time. This was like a while ago. This was like before Charlotte started suffering her injuries. This was before Bianca was even on the roster. I remember when this was before Bianca was on the main roster. I remember when I went to that show though, and people on Twitter kept saying like, "Oh, boo Charlotte," because people been hating Charlotte for a long time, and people was hating Charlotte and saying, "Oh, the crowd hates Charlotte. Nobody likes Charlotte. Yada yada yada." This is when she lost to Bailey. And I remember being at that show, and I remember how loud. Charlotte probably got the loudest pop of the night, and I don't know if it was close. Like, and people will say, "Oh, but obviously she was in her hometown." That's not the point. The point is, you run to Twitter and you see all these people saying, "Oh, they don't like Charlotte. Oh, boo Charlotte. Oh, clearly the crowd don't like Charlotte." But when you at the actual show and you listening to these chants, and you listening to the crowd erupt when Charlotte's music hit and when she come out there, I'm just telling you, it's a different thing. But to get back to the match, I was intrigued on how this match would look because, like I said before, while Gunther is a very, very much a polished solos wrestler, Jey Uso isn't. So I was and I saw people talk about that, oh, Jey Uso only got 5 moves and yada, yada, yada going into this match. But, you know, I find it very interesting that if you like somebody, you appreciate the grind. You have an excuse for him every time. If you like Jey Uso, you would have said, well, that type of fan is always the type they'll kill a superstar, but for the fan that they like is if they liked a wrestler that had a 5-move type set, they kill Jey Uso, but then you talk about their favorite wrestler who got that same 5-move set, and they come to you like, oh, well, this wrestler's still grinding, they're working hard, and Triple H is doing them dirty, they're not giving them time to it's just a bunch of nonsense. One of the biggest mysteries in wrestling to me is why wrestling has become how did that fan base even become? And maybe it is become because younger minded fans have entered the building and they refuse to mature and grow up and understand that this is still entertainment. You shouldn't take it as personal as some people take it. But, you know, I think one of the biggest things that led to that anyways was the more access people got to things that I don't feel like we should have access to in the first place. But it's whatever. We are where we are now. But Jey Uso coming into this match, I was interested in how the development that he has gone through over the last couple months, over really the last couple years, since this Roman Reigns thing started. Since the bloodline thing started and the main event Jey Uso started and Roman said, we're going to separate you from your twin and people going to know you because right now you just twin. They don't even know who you. Seeing his evolution and getting to this point, and nothing is perfect. Like, obviously it'll be moments in every match that'll look sloppy when you're not. But like I think a problem is everybody expects every match to look like it's Seth Rollins, AJ Styles out there. That's just not the reality. You don't even appreciate certain wrestlers who put on those type of matches anyways. You boo certain ones. We'll get to that later on. But nonetheless, for what my expectations were for Gunther and Jey Uso, I think they delivered. I like the ending to the match. I couldn't have told you in a million years that Gunther was going to tap out to Jey Uso. And I really appreciate that in Gunther, you know, because Gunther done given not CM Punk. Gunther already done given moments to, Sami Zayn, now Jey Uso. Now I am gonna say something, and I really probably should save it to the end of the show, because something is happening at WrestleMania that I really don't like. But it's based off of how I would book certain wrestlers or certain things that would help storytelling all around. Because I think one of the biggest problems with Triple H is his storytelling and his booking. Like I think it's very clear that Triple H books his favorite wrestlers who we know Triple H personally rocks with heavy. I don't think it's a crime to say we clearly see that he books them better or more favorable than he books other wrestlers. Even if other wrestlers are top wrestlers, they are not getting booked nearly as great as he booking some of his favorites, which to me was even more evident after tonight. But in the process of him booking his favorites and this love affair he had for the wrestlers that he had in NXT when he was there, and booking them and putting a jetpack on their ass and shooting them to the moon, I do think that interrupts storytelling a lot. But because people are so obsessed with hating Vince McMahon and loving everything Triple H do, a lot of people don't come out and say that, which is one of the reasons that eventually storytelling get very stale and people start to blame all different type of avenues, when in actuality, if we this is just my opinion, if we just talked about truthfully that if Triple H stopped booking his favorite wrestlers to win everything and to come out of every story victorious, and understand that it's other great wrestlers who you can have win these feuds and build them also, then I think, and plus this mindset of the fans that everybody can be great. It's not even that fans want everybody to be great. Some of the psychotic fans don't want everybody to be great. They just want their favorite to be great. But in the process of them wanting their favorite to be great, and how they are so fickle when they jump from wrestler to wrestler, they really have this loser's mentality of, if this person is losing a lot, then they should win now. It doesn't matter about story or anything like that. This person loses a lot, I want them to win now because I see myself in them. I think that's a bit annoying, and I think a lot of times Triple H does book. I just personally am not a fan of the majority of the booking decisions that have been made with Triple H. I'm not telling you that some of the stories haven't been good stories, but even some of the good stories I think could have been better stories with different booking decisions. I think this notion that Triple H is just this god of a booker and he just saved I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Wrestling was in a good spot before Vince McMahon and all that stuff started happening. Vince McMahon, I just think it's insane the credit that people take away from Vince. I understand not liking somebody, but trying to say that, like, taking credit away from all that Vince McMahon did for, like, wrestling is not even here right now without Vince McMahon. Like, Triple H is not why WWE has signed all of these contracts that they've signed. Before Triple H took over, Vince McMahon already had Roman Reigns doing the whole bloodline thing. Like, what are we talking about right now? He had the top rep. We'll get to a lot of these different things in a moment, but this was a good match. I like the way it ended. Like I said, I didn't think that Gunther would get tapped out. That was not on my bingo card. I like that decision. But I really like that. Well, for one, I don't know if Triple H would have had one of his guys lose like Gunther just lost, but Gunther probably is one of his guys based off of how Gunther was talking about Triple H in that Ariel Helwani interview. It was so funny because Gunther has only been booked like the greatest thing on God's green earth. Vince McMahon did not have Gunther going out there losing. Vince McMahon put a title on that nigga damn near immediately. I don't even know if Gunther lost in the Vince McMahon era. So, I don't know. But I am happy that Gunther losing doesn't really do anything for Gunther. Now, I don't think that's a necessary, like, when some people say, like, I saw people tonight say another match that happened, it was like, oh, well, you know, this loss doesn't do anything for this person, so they can take this loss. I understand that saying, that premise, if you will, but that is not a reason to have certain wrestlers lose matches. I am a big storytelling type of person. Not even just storytelling. It'll make more sense later on when we get to more matches. But in this instance, Gunther losing, I guess, made sense to me. To me, this was just such a Jey Uso style of Kofi Mania type of moment that it was just, I don't know if this moment does anything for anybody but Jey as far as like, if Gunther, I don't know, because if Gunther wins this match, I mean, he do become an even bigger heel in the process, but Gunther is already a top heel. He doesn't really need to win this match to become a bigger heel. I think winning this match does build up his prestige more, but I feel like in this Triple H era, he not doing the long title reigns. Like, he pretty much playing hot potato with the titles. Like, nobody is holding those titles for longer than like a couple months, and then it's jumping to the next competitor. I don't know how much I like that, because it feel like right now, it feel like, and it's not just a Gunther Jey Uso thing. This is just my thoughts on since Triple H took over. I don't know if any major feud right now, as far as all the feuds that involve titles. You know, in a feud you have those throwaway feuds. When you are a champion, you have feuds that are throwaway feuds where you know it's a feud that you're gonna win this feud. We expect you to win. It's probably gonna be like a 1 month feud, couple week feud. It's just something to get you to the next feud. And then you have those big feuds. If you're a champion for a long time, you expect to have a couple big feuds throughout your reign that you know, basically, what's the word I'm looking for? That basically describes, or these type of matches are they show you how great of a reign you had, basically. You hope to have a couple of those throughout your reign, right? It feels like throughout the Triple H era right now, every time a champion gets to their big match in a feud, they lose. Really, the heel is the one who I feel like keep losing. It don't feel like the babyface has lost that big match yet. They lose all of the little matches sometimes. Like Jey Uso lost all of the little matches against Gunther that didn't really matter. And Gunther won all of the little matches, basically the battles. But the war, because Cody beat Roman last year. And I know a lot of people say, well, you know, the hero's supposed to win these at the end of the day. Yeah, I agree with that in a movie. Or maybe in a TV show. Not in wrestling. Wrestling is a continuous type of thing. It's a circle. It's never ending, really. So I don't see why. Like, I'm not mad that Gunther lost his match, but I'm just saying I wouldn't have been opposed to Gunther winning, because see, that's the one thing that I like about Vince McMahon. Cody Rhodes lost at the WrestleMania before he finally completed his story. I honest to God think Cody Rhodes was going to lose again if Vince McMahon had stayed in charge, because Vince McMahon was more obsessed with finishing Roman's story before finishing the Cody Rhodes story. I don't have a doubt that Cody would have finished his story under Vince. I just don't believe he would have finished it as quick as he did, because I feel like it was so much more story for Roman to have told. But because of the decision Triple H made, it changed a lot of the plans that's going on. I don't even like where Roman is right now in the company, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But under Vince truly, in my opinion, understood long-term booking. Triple H, to me, every time he get an opportunity at a big pay-per-view to give the babyface the win, it kind of feel like the babyface always takes that big win in those major things, except for when it's like a rushed feud where we just trying to change the hands of the title. Like, I don't know, man. I don't want it to sound like I'm not happy Jey Uso won this match, because I am happy Jey Uso won this match. I remember when Jey Uso and Jimmy were coming out doing a tribal dance every time they came out. I remember them days. to when people finally started taking them serious as a tag team. Because I remember when they were winning tag teams before and people was still really scared. Oh, well, I don't know why they keep putting the titles on them. Until when people started finally taking them serious, when the Uso penitentiary and things of that nature, to the bloodline, to now. Very happy for Jey Uso. I didn't want it to sound like I was mad at Jey Uso when it was more. It just made me think about how Triple H has booked things while he has been in charge. Like Vince McMahon kind of understands. Like for instance, he could have had Bianca beat Becky immediately when Becky came back, but instead he had the heel take the big win in that. And then they feuded for a long time. And then they eventually got to Bianca winning. But I just feel like and that really was like one of the... It's way better examples than the one I just gave. Because Bianca was probably one of Vince's favorites. But I don't know, man. I just feel like... I don't know. Let's move on. It was a great match, though. And Jey Uso ended up winning. Well, I don't want to really put a star on the match. If I had to, I'd probably give it a 3-star out of 5. The ending of the match was very good. I liked... it was a good match. I think that Gunther did a good job leading this dance. Jey Uso did he showed a lot of improvements as a solo competitor, which listen, when you are the champion, Jey Uso already know what it's like to be a champion, for one. That's why I was annoyed when niggas was talking about Jey Uso like he was so bum, like he was some bum, like this ain't one of the most decorated wrestlers in the company. Like, stop it. This is one of the greatest tag team, the two greatest tag teams of all time, in my opinion, is New Day and the Usos. You had niggas talking about Jey Uso like he was just some bum or something. Though. That shit was annoying. But shout out to Jey Uso. It was a great match. Especially for what I expected it to be. It definitely met my expectations. So, shout out to Gunther and Jey Uso. Gunther taking another WrestleMania loss. Something to think about. The next match of the night was the New Day taking on the War Raiders. I was shocked that this match happened second. But when you look at how the card played itself out, I guess it made sense. This was also a good match, and which is not shocking that this was going to be a good match because it's two teams that are very good in ring. But I want to talk about the War Raiders because, I done said this multiple times when I talk about the War Raiders, whether they be the War Raiders, the Viking Raiders, it was something else they were in between that when they got mad or angry or something. They called them like the new Viking Raiders or some shit like that. I understand it's WrestleMania. People want to look great coming to the ring. You're going to wear a great attire, great little get up. The War Raiders look like two dumbasses, respectfully. I think this is one of the problems with the War Raiders, whatever you want to call them. And I done said this a million times. They are unbelievable in the ring. They are great in-ring competitors. They are going to put on a great match if you give them the time and a great dance partner. Hell, you probably don't even got to give them a great dance partner. They'll put on a great match. They are phenomenal in-ring competitors. Outside of that, they just do not move the needle for this tag team division, bro. I'm sorry. And I'm not telling you that they're not good. I'm not telling you that the tag team division don't need them. I'm not telling you that they're not a great addition or a great tag team to have in the tag team division. But I think, and people are not going to like this, but this is just my perspective or my opinion. I think the War Raiders, to me, the two biggest purposes that they serve that could make them legends is understanding that they are transition champions. So you put the titles on them to transition it to the people you really want to put it on. And that they are in the division to make the top guys look great because they can give great matches. I don't think they the greatest tag team to feud with because I don't think that the War Raiders, for whatever reason it is, they just don't reach the people the way that the New Day or the Usos have for well over a decade. They don't have that longevity in a feud that, for some reason, whatever reason it is, you can blame whoever you want to blame. they do not do for the division or for those titles what the New Day and the Usos and even the Hardys or other type tag teams have done for it. And that is very evident, it makes all the sense in the world to me as to why the New Day won this match. The Usos and the New Day, while I have watched wrestling in my lifetime, obviously you got 3D, DX, you got a lot of great tag teams, the Shield, a lot of great tag teams. The two greatest tag teams in my lifetime is the New Day and the Usos. And it made, in my lifetime of watching wrestling, putting those titles on any other team, not named the Usos or the New Day, has just not worked out the way you would have liked it to work out. Especially when you give a tag team a long reign. They are the two teams that understand exactly how to have a long title reign and keep it entertaining throughout the entire reign. Like, to me, the Usos and the New Day are generational talents. They are the definition of what a tag team champion is supposed to be. They uplift the division. They take it to new heights. They make their opponents look great. They have great feuds, great matches. They connect with the audience, whether you're booing them or you're cheering them. And they sell. Like, the New Day do everything you need a champion to do. Which is why Vince used to always put the titles back on the Usos or the New Day. He always did it. That was always his fallback option after he tried to give a tag team a chance. Once they flame burned out, all right, let's put those titles back on the New Day and the Usos to revitalize the division and put some prestige back on those titles. That's why they are who they are. But if you got people out there who just hate greatness. They get tired of it very easily. It's annoying that they so loud with it, but it is what it is. But I'm one of those people who understand you need greatness in order to continuously have greatness. Like, you can only become as, I don't even know if it makes sense, but you can only become as great as the greatness that you are chasing. So, in a sense, like, if The Rock and Stone Cold didn't exist, who would some of these wrestlers chase? If the Shawn Michaels didn't exist, or the Kurt Angles, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have people be great in order to reach for something, so you can know how great you can be, or how, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think it's insane that people hate greatness. That's insane to me. Like, if you hate that the New Day won because you feel like, oh, they always win, they win. Like, to me, that's one of the biggest losing ass things I ever hear is when people are like, oh, they win too much. Like, so fucking what? Like, I didn't know it was a criteria on how much you could win. Like, that's crazy to me. But anyways, this was a great match. The New Day did end up winning this match, doing dastardly things. As good as this match was, I don't think I would give it 5 stars like I was expecting to give it. I think I would give this match a 3 stars also. Like, it wasn't that much better than the first match to where I'm like, oh, this match just blew me out of the water. To me, one match specifically stood above every other match on the card. And even that match wasn't a 5-star match, but it was the closest to the 5-star match. Which is very odd, because I don't remember the last time I saw a WrestleMania and it wasn't a 5-star match, at least one in both nights. But that was just my opinion personally. But this was a great match between the New Day and the... you know what I think it was? My expectations were so high because I've seen New Day and the Raiders put on great match after great match. I don't want to say that I became numb to it, because to some people this might be just a phenomenal match. But to me, I done seen the New Day have so many insane matches that this was just, to me, this was a good one. This was a good one. I appreciate them boys for going out there putting their bodies on the line. I don't know if it would have got a "this is awesome" chant out of me. No disrespect. That don't mean it wasn't a great match. I just don't think that it would have. I don't know if it would have got, because that's, when you get a chance like that, to me, that's a 4.5, 5-star type of match. We borderlining on, that type of stuff. But it was a good match. It was a great match. I like how the New Day rolled out of the ring and ran away with the titles, bro. That shit was hilarious. But the New Day are going to do wonders for the tag team championships. I can't wait to see the run they're about to go on because the New Day understand how to make those titles in the division important. Next up was Naomi taking on Jade. And let me tell you something. Going into this match, I wanted Naomi to win because Naomi turned, she convinced me with her speech about people turning on her and, you know, her always. And, you know, at first I was like, you know, Naomi, I don't know, bro. When you was a champion with Sasha, you decided to, you know, get your ball and leave. That was your decision. You know what I'm saying? When you finally broke through, you ran away. But I said, you know what, let's keep it in the current time. And I don't know what it was, but I started to side with her a little bit. Maybe it's because Jade came from AEW. I don't know. But after the night, listen, man, I know there's going to be a lot of people out there who are not happy that Naomi lost this match. They're going to be like, oh, Naomi can't get over. She'll never be able to win a feud. They don't give her, they don't treat her, they treat other women, yada, yada, yada. Like, they're not giving her no momentum. But let me tell you something. If Charlotte Flair can lose at WrestleMania as many times as she has lost at WrestleMania, Naomi can lose at WrestleMania. That's one. Two, if Roman Reigns can lose at WrestleMania as many times as he has lost at WrestleMania, Naomi can lose at WrestleMania. 3, after seeing Jade walk out and seeing her wrestle this match, boy, it would have been a mistake to book Naomi to win this match. Halfway through this match, I said to myself, it's no shot Naomi better win this fucking match. I literally said that out loud. Because Jade is so far and away, and I'm taking nothing away from Naomi. Naomi did her part. She was great. Jade is on another level. Jade to me is, and I don't say this often. I do not say this often. The two women who I watched, who I instantly knew, I was like, yeah, these are the greats. Like, this is the GOAT, and this is the one that's going to challenge her one day to be the GOAT. With all the women that Triple H want to put at the top of the thing and all the white dudes on Twitter who want to, you know, put these white women that they fetishize over on, Charlotte and Bianca, to me, are on just a different level. Now, to me, the GOATs are Charlotte, Sasha, Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, and Bayley. I think those 4 horsewomen are the GOATs of the business, and I'm going to get more into that later on. But Jade, she gonna be there one day, man. Jade's gonna be there one day. Jade is phenomenal. Jade, for one, Jade is, good Lord, Jade looks unbelievable, bro. Jade is a baddie. That's somebody's mama looking like that. Jade looks unbelievable. In the ring, her appearance, her gear. Like, I like her little intro. Shit might have been a little cheesy, but this is wrestling. That's what we're supposed to be. I liked it. To me, this was a great debut by Jade. Jade probably had one of my favorite debuts I've seen at a WrestleMania. Now, granted, I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but this stands out. That was a great... See, another thing that bothered me a lot was that was a good match and the fans really wasn't giving them much. And I don't really like that because that was a good match. And I spoke on the prediction show that I never released about how Naomi and Jade haven't had matches against each other. So they I understand in the back, you know, behind the scenes, they working together to get this match down. But when you go out there and you actually have to do it, that's a different thing. And it could be an interesting match knowing that they aren't two women who don't work together continuously. So they don't have the chemistry down like that. This was still a great match to me. The crowd really didn't give them much of anything, in my opinion, the way you would imagine a crowd would hype up wrestlers throughout a WrestleMania show, but maybe I'm tripping. I did appreciate how this match basically ended. Jade just looked phenomenal at the end of this match. Like, the moves that she hit, that power bomb that she hit, that, just... After this match, I thought to myself, yo, well, it's really odd what I thought to myself after what happened later on in the night. But I saw that with Jade, and I said to myself, man, they gonna push her to the moon. Like, especially after what happened later on in the night, bro. She might end up beating Charlotte later on in the year, to be honest with you, because for some reason Triple H don't seem to really care about the prestige of any of the wrestlers with any type of prestige. That helps build great stories, in my opinion. But we'll get to that when we get to that. But this was a great debut for Jade. This was a 5 out of 5 night to me for Jade Cargill. Like this was just phenomenal. Like, she looked great in the ring. She did what she was supposed to do. She looked great, like, as far as like in the ring, her gear, her face, like the entrance. Like, Jade killed it. And I absolutely loved her ring gear. And the haircut. Jade looked like she was created in a fucking lab. That's what Jade looked like. She a created character. Like, I used to think that Bianca was a created character. First, I thought Charlotte was a created character. I was like, yo, if you want to create if you sit down and say, I want to create the greatest women wrestler of all time, you create Charlotte. Then later on, Bianca came along, and I said, you create Bianca too. So I guess it's 2 different versions you can create. You can create a Charlotte, you can create a Bianca. After the night, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of thought to myself, man, I don't know if you create a GOAT, but I know if you creating a superstar that look damn near like a GOAT and perform like one, you create Jade. Because good Lord, boy, she looked like she was born to be one of the GOATs of the women industry, of the women's wrestling. It's amazing how good she looked to me tonight. So shout out to Jade. I didn't even rate that match, that last match, the New Day. Oh yes, I did. I gave it 3 stars. For this one, I probably enjoyed this one more than the first 2, so I probably give this one 4 stars. Nah, I enjoyed it more a little bit, but I don't think it was 4. I don't think it was a whole star better. I think I give this one 3.5. Yeah, because Jade really impressed me, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Jade was phenomenal. I was so intrigued at how Jade would look in her first WrestleMania. So maybe my expectations being blown away. Well, surely my expectations being blown away is why I'm giving it a half a star more than the other 2 matches. The next match of the night, the 4th match of the night, LA Knight taking on Jacob Fatu. You know what? I changed my mind. This was probably the bet. You know, if my favorite match of the night wasn't 5 stars, but this to me was a 4-star match, damn near a 4. I think for this match, do I want to give that last match a 5 star? Not the last match of the night, just the match that I think is the best match of the night. I'm trying to think, do I want to upgrade it to 5 stars so I can give this one a 4? I don't think I will, but I will give this this one is gonna get a strong 4 out of me. This match, LA Knight is great on the mic, and I think LA Knight is a good in-ring competitor. I think this might be my favorite LA Knight match he done had on the main roster to this point. And he done had some good matches, but this was a great match. It felt like he brought it from start to finish. It just felt like LA Knight stepped up to the competition. I don't know what it was. It just felt like he understood who he was wrestling. And he brought that physicality. It's almost like when you see a UFC fight or something like that, and you know an opponent know who he's facing, so he bring the proper game plan to put down his opponent. I like it when I see shit like that. That's what it looked like from LA Knight in the beginning. Like, it just looked like he knew exactly who he was competing against, and he brought everything he was supposed to bring. He game planned properly. At the end of the day, he just wasn't able to get the victory at the end. This dude, Jacob Fatu, is a fucking freak of nature. I don't know how this nigga is jumping up doing pop-up fucking moonsaults like this at the distance he did them hoes at. Shit was insane. I thought to myself, man, is he gonna pull LA Knight in a little closer to make the moonsault a little bit easier? Silly me. That was me being disrespectful at the end of the day. I'm starting to see because this nigga got vert. Shout out to Jacob Fatu. I think you would have been a fool to not believe he was gonna win this match. The beauty in that, however, is you might have thought he was gonna win this match going into the match. Throughout the match, though, it got murky because this was a great match. Like, I think this was the first match of the night that made me sit up and say, man, this is a great match. Like, I liked all of the matches. So I really don't know why I phrased it like that. But this was the first, because the Jade one really was the one that woke me up, really woke me up. But this one was like, man, LA Knight basically, if I had to rank the people who got me going tonight, Jade and LA Knight would definitely be 1, 2 right now. Because I didn't expect LA Knight to bring this type. I didn't expect for LA Knight's energy to be what it was throughout this match. I don't know what I expected, to be completely honest with you, but LA Knight this was a great match to me. I did not, you know what it was? I don't think that I expected this match to be a match that stood out to me the way it did at the end of the night. But this was a hell of a match. Great match. I ended up enjoying this match. Jacob Fatu did end up winning the championship in this match. He is now your new United States champion. Like I said, with the momentum that Fatu done gained over the last couple months, very easy to see, very hard to not see that he was probably one of the biggest rising stars in the company, and they were going to get a title on him sooner rather than later. But just before we head to this next match, shout out to Sol Ruka, who hit 2 disgusting ass finishers on 3 different women. 1 from the top of the ladder, basically, and then 2 on, like, bro, I can't remember what her finisher is called at the moment, but she just became the North American Women's Champion on NXT in that match. I think it's Stand and Deliver. Unfucking believable ending to that match. I don't know if I done seen anything better than what I saw from Sol Ruka this weekend, as far as like how she ended that match. Sol Ruka is unbelievable. Women's wrestling really is just has a special place in my heart at the moment. Like, what Charlotte, Sasha, and Bayley and Bianca have done for me, I could never thank them enough. I did not think this is what women's wrestling was, or I don't know if I ever thought it could be this, because I didn't think that they were talented enough. I don't know if I thought that the WWE and fans would ever accept that women could be this great at wrestling, because I understand that wrestling is I know what this sport has been, the buff white guy type of sport, but man, these women just continue to do shit that just blows my fucking mind, yo. If you haven't seen that match and the ending of it, just go watch Sol Ruka do work. Now, we're going to take a quick little intermission so I can get me something to drink. And we'll be right back. I'm not really going anywhere. You know, you can really tell me about your day if that's what you want to do. But how many matches we got left? We got 3 matches left, so hang in there. Well, I zoned out for a little second. I forgot y'all was right here. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sitting over this whole deep in thought. All right. So, the fifth match of the night. El Grande Americano took on Rey Fenix. Now, he was supposed to take on Rey Mysterio, but Rey Mysterio got hurt on Friday Night SmackDown, which is why I always understand why if you compete on WrestleMania, you don't compete on the Friday night before WrestleMania. I don't know why they had Rey Mysterio competing the night before WrestleMania, but I guess you could use the excuse that, well, if you compete multiple weeks before WrestleMania, what's the problem with competing the night before WrestleMania? I get it. So it's not a big deal nonetheless. But yeah, it was supposed to be Rey Mysterio taking on El Grande Americano, but Rey Mysterio was hurt, so Phoenix filled in. El Grande Americano, not Chad Gable, because it's not Chad Gable. This is Grande Americano. Put some respect on that man's name. This luchador legend hit a fucking, I don't even know what you call it, a 360, 180. I don't know what you would call the shit that he hit in the corner. That was crazy. But what's hilarious to me was when he put the steel in the metal plate in his face mask. He did it so early and obvious that I was like, oh, well, this is not going to work. Clearly, he going to end up losing this match because of this. He did not. Everything actually went to plan, which is very rare that you see everything go to plan for a heel, but it's probably because he was supposed to be having this match with Rey Mysterio, so it was really no purpose in giving him an L to Rey Fenix. And I'm not going to lie to you, for everybody who is annoyed with the El Grande Americano thing, I think people really don't love and enjoy wrestling the way they're supposed to, because throughout all of the great eras of wrestling, you have these acts like the Hurricane and all these different type of silly, goofy acts that go on for a good little while. I don't think that El Grande Americano is disrespectful. I think, man, for people that like wrestling, man, y'all sure do take everything so personal and get very emotionally and sensitively invested in things that you really shouldn't be that emotionally and sensitively invested in. It's crazy. But nonetheless, El Grande Americano ended up winning his debut match. Shout out to him. Now, the co-main event of the evening of night one of WrestleMania was Tiffany Stratton taking on Charlotte Flair. Now, I think this was by far my favorite match of the night. This was a great match. But the reason I said that I couldn't give this a 5-star, even though it was my favorite match, was because and I really don't like what I'm finna say because it's gonna seem like I'm taking shots, but I'm not, because I love Tiffany Stratton. But it was moments in this match where you could clearly see the fatigue in Tiffany, where the moves got kind of sloppy and whatnot. And Charlotte, as great as Charlotte was leading her through this dance, it was just moments where Charlotte couldn't be the leader no more. You just have to be able to have the stamina to do certain things. So that's something that Tiff is definitely going to work on. But am I shocked that Charlotte lost this match? I guess a little bit, because Charlotte, but in a sense I'm not, because Charlotte, I don't remember the last time Charlotte won at WrestleMania, to be completely honest with you. And it seems like Charlotte is on a mission to put over as many women as she possibly can. I don't know. She don't really win these feuds with I don't remember the last time she won a feud, to be completely honest with you. I don't know. It's interesting. But that brings me to my next point, or my next talking point, rather. I don't, this done irritated me for a very long time, but at this point, especially after tonight, I am very confused as to why Charlotte gets the hate she has. I already talked about how I understand people hate greatness, and so you're going to boo greatness. But this notion that Charlotte just buries everybody, I don't know if it's a woman on the roster who put over, for one, there's nobody on the roster, woman-wise, that can put over anybody the way Charlotte can. Because there's nobody on the roster like Charlotte. That's one. Two, I don't know a woman on the roster who has put over more women recently than Charlotte. Three, I don't understand why Charlotte continues to put up. Charlotte haven't held a championship in about 2.5 years now. I don't understand why she keeps putting over other women as if like she about to retire. Like, to me, Charlotte is still very much in her prime. She still should be stacking her resume. I know that's not something that fanboys want to hear. Fanboys of like, oh, I love Liv, or I love Tiff, or I love this woman. And you really don't even care you don't care about that woman in the ring or nothing like that. You just think she looked good and you hate Charlotte for it. I don't really get it. To me, story-wise, the top story like Triple H seemed to be obsessed with just turning everybody into a star as quick as possible. And I get it to an extent. Like Vince McMahon put a title on Liv Morgan and shot her to the moon, even though I don't agree with that assessment. Like, I understand that's how people can view it. But I still think when you look at Liv's evolution, for one, Liv definitely didn't get a title put on her as quick as Tiffany. Not this level of title. Like, Liv just got into the big time title picture and like became a mega star. And she has held a title before in the past, but she didn't have this type of like. They did not rush title reign onto Liv. Even at the moment in which Liv finally held gold, in some aspects it felt rushed even at that time. Nowhere near to this extent with Tiff. Now, Tiffany is better than Liv in ring. She probably is farther along in the ring. Like, I saw people on Twitter going at Tiffany saying, like, oh, she didn't even look good in the ring, and oh, she tired out, and yada yada. Bro, you gotta understand, man. It's WrestleMania. Tiffany has had great match. Like, I don't think some people watch at NXT, so you probably haven't watched how great Tiffany was on NXT, which is one of the reasons I knew she was going to be a star when she got to the main roster. I think a couple things is holding her back from becoming a mega star that she's going to become. One, youth, because, you know, it is what it is. But in my personal opinion, I saw somebody say also on this match, for Tiffany, Charlotte didn't need this win because the win didn't do anything for Charlotte, but Tiffany, this win does everything for Tiffany. I don't know. I think at this point, and this is the point that I was going to make earlier in the show that we'll get to now, it seems as though in the Triple H era, the value of a cornerstone star doesn't really mean much, only for them to be beat. So a Roman Reigns, a Charlotte, a Bianca, John Cena possibly, we'll see tomorrow. To me, they only exist to take losses and to make other people bigger. And while I probably understand that for the Cena, because Cena is retired damn near, I don't understand that for Roman Reigns. I don't understand that for the Biancas. I don't understand that. I thought my alarm went off. I thought my house alarm went off. I don't understand that for the Charlotte Flairs, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand Triple H has his favorites, and you might not agree with what I'm saying, but I understand Triple H has his favorites. I understand he got his NXT people that he loves, and I love Tiffany Stratton. Like, I adore Tiffany. I think Tiffany is going to be one of the future faces of the women's wrestling. However, I don't agree with this statement that this win did a lot for Tiffany, for the simple reason, to me, I don't want what's happening to Rhea to happen to Tiffany. Rhea has been given multiple wins over Charlotte. See, that's the thing. That's why I say it kind of feel like the value of these cornerstone superstars, that when you beat them, it's supposed to do something for your career. Like when Becky Lynch was becoming GOAT-like, her wins over Charlotte meant something. When Bianca was becoming GOAT-like, her wins over Becky meant something. Like, to me, every time Triple H or Vince want to rush somebody that they really like, Bianca, I just want to put in perspective for you. As much as people continue to hate Bianca also, she is yet to beat Charlotte at WrestleMania because she hasn't faced Charlotte at WrestleMania. I personally, and I'm not trying to take shots at Triple H. I've said it before. I just don't agree or enjoy the way he books things. And even when it's things that I do like booked, I always seem to feel like, man, this could have been booked a little bit better. And you might not feel the way I feel. That's cool. That's cool. We can respect each other's opinions. But I understand. See, my whole thing comes from a perspective of storytelling. Especially long-term storytelling that can get an ultimate impact for both characters. See, I don't care about the fans that chant, oh, I'm tired of Bianca. Oh, I hate Roman Reigns. Oh, I don't like Charlotte winning all the time. Because Charlotte nor Bianca have touched the top title in God knows how long. So that complaint is just something you say because you don't want them to win and you continue to want your favorites to win. That's how you know people don't love wrestling. They don't care about storytelling. They just care about their favorites winning. To me, what Charlotte as the champion does for that women's division, because at the end of the day, Charlotte is still who people shoot to be. That's who you want to beat. But when you constantly just give wins over, because you know Charlotte going to give you a great match. That's the one thing. Charlotte is always going to put on a great match. It just is what it is. She done been I don't know, man or woman, if I have seen a great, I'm talking about all the wrestlers that I've seen in my lifetime. I don't know if I've seen a better dance partner than Charlotte Flair. She is going to give you a 5-star, 4-star match every time. She gonna lead the dance like a motherfucking G every time. And this notion that she gonna win is just incorrect. But you know what she gonna do? She gonna make you look better than you came into that match when you leave out of that match. That's just the nature of the beast. That's what a GOAT is. And that's why I think Charlotte is the greatest women's wrestler to ever have lived. Like, that's why it's really annoying. I don't like this we give them flowers after they retire type of thing, because to me, and maybe this is because people didn't grow up and see Charlotte, because people bitch about, oh, well, Tiffany should win this match because she younger right now. It don't do nothing for Charlotte. When Charlotte was young and winning, people were saying Charlotte shouldn't win. So Charlotte shouldn't win when she was young, but Tiffany should win when she is young. It just shows you niggas have a mental illness. But when it comes to Charlotte, as much as I love the Roman Reigns of the world and all the different people I love, I don't know if it's a wrestler who has done more for their section, in a sense of like, women's wrestling has been so what Charlotte has done for women's wrestling is immeasurable. You cannot quantify her value to women's wrestling because it's unquantifiable. What she has meant to women's wrestling is undeniable. I don't know, and I adore so many different women wrestlers. I grew up watching so many. I watched Michelle McCool get inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I watched Layla and her take the pictures. I watched both of them growing up. I watched Victoria. I watched Mickie James. I watched Trish. I watched Lita. I watched so many different greats. The Gail Kims. I watched Angelina Love and Velvet Scott. Like, I done watched so many great women wrestlers. What Charlotte Flair has meant to women's wrestling is unfucking real. And the fact that she has constantly been denied her flowers and people have constantly tried to nitpick these different type of things to hate her, and people take these personal shots at her. This, mind you, is just a woman going out there doing her job. She don't book herself. And not to mention, we done seen so many people who, we done seen wrestlers who people adore not be what we want them to be when they get that opportunity. But Charlotte has never failed to be what we need her to be and to turn other wrestlers into what we want them to be. Charlotte is one of the very few greats who is not only, she never walks out of a feud being the only one who looks good when she has major feuds. Like I said before, in every champion you have throwaway feuds where you just need the champion to build a champion up to beat people. But when you have these major feuds with the Sasha Charlottes, the Charlotte Beckys, the Charlotte Baileys, they never came out of those feuds looking bad. Charlotte, when she feud with other women, what she done for this industry is just, it's insane. And the hate that she has received so many times, like, it's a reason so many women talk about how they look up to Charlotte, how Charlotte is the standard. Like, that's why it's kind of annoying to me to see so many people just be handed wins over Charlotte. Like, it used to mean something earning a win over some of these certain competitors, but now it seems like we're in an era where everybody gets a chance, everybody gets to win, everybody get to beat Charlotte. And while none of this is going to hurt Charlotte's legacy, because Charlotte has done what she has done and you can't take away what she has done to the industry, and I quite frankly don't believe anybody can duplicate what Charlotte did, because with Charlotte, and I'm not saying Charlotte did it by herself, because I believe that Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, specifically though Charlotte and Sasha, because Charlotte and Sasha carry such a load early on to put. I just feel as though what every single time Charlotte has been asked to go be great, she is done. You can't show me film of her letting us down, of her letting women down when she went out there to point. I think she is the perfect. When women got together one day and they said, we are going to create the perfect women's wrestler that will make men, kids, boys, teenagers, all alike respect us and finally see us as equals to the men. When they sat down in the lab and started creating up that woman, they created Charlotte. I don't know, and I done lived through a lot of important moments in women's wrestling, but I don't know if there has been a more important moment in women's wrestling than Charlotte deciding to be a wrestler, because what she has done since becoming a wrestler is just, and people say, well, you know, she was given opportunities, or her last name. Do you think she would continuously have gotten opportunities or done the things she's done if she was terrible? Because last name does not matter. I done seen legendary wrestlers' children not do half or make it half as far as they made it, because they just didn't have that it factor. Charlotte has more than an it factor. An it factor gonna get you far. We've seen a lot of people with the it factor, but when you have an it factor and everything that goes along with it, because you can be it and not be the hardest worker in the room, not be the best in the ring, great on the mic. You can just have an it factor about you. Charlotte has everything that it entails. And so I hate that she have to always see all of the constant disrespect and the constant hatred for no reason, when all she going out there is doing her job and constantly putting other women over. Because Charlotte clearly is a woman who is not afraid, who does not fear. Her legacy is what it, like, she is not at fear that her legacy is going to be tarnished or something like that. And it's real crazy to me that, you know, for all of the fans out there who adore the Daniel Bryans and the CM Punks and, you know, guys like that, to hate Charlotte Flair, to me, is just absolutely insane. But this was my favorite match of the night, even with the moments of where Tiff seemed to be fatigued a little bit. While this was my favorite match of the night, this probably was my least favorite outcome of the night, because I don't really understand. See, I don't care that Tiffany retained. I don't like Tiffany as a baby face. Tiffany's best, her best promo in the entire feud was when she basically cut a heel promo as a baby face. Tiffany right now is not at a point where she's going to carry the division. And I understand that this, you know, they got this saying where you know, the title, this is gonna teach Tiffany how to be a champion, yada yada yada. But I don't think what would have changed if Tiffany lost this match this year and then beat Charlotte at WrestleMania next year? Because I'm gonna tell you what I saw happen before. I saw Rhea be rushed into the main spotlight, and I saw them give Rhea a win over Charlotte, because Rhea done beat Charlotte at WrestleMania like 2 times. And I saw them give Charlotte that loss to Rhea. I think it was the second time she faced Rhea, or the first time. And I saw that. And I saw Rhea do absolutely nothing with that momentum of beating Charlotte. Beating Charlotte, or beating Bianca, or beating CM Punk, or beating The Rock, or beating Cena, or Stone Cold. Beating them is one thing. But what do you do with the most? Because yes, beating them is going to give you a crazy endorphin high, a crazy momentum. But what do you do after you beat them? To me, I don't understand why Charlotte doesn't win this match, because what Charlotte could do for the division that will ultimately help Tiffany even more the next time she faces Charlotte. Also, the fan in me, I just don't understand why Charlotte is taking all of these L's at WrestleMania. I really don't know. It's not lowering the prestige of WrestleMania to me in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But seeing so many of the greats under Triple H, if they are heels, basically lose unless they are a baby face. I don't know, man. Like, Roman Reigns is not, like, The Rock, leave The Rock thing out. Like, Roman Reigns hasn't won under Triple H at WrestleMania outside of that match with The Rock. Charlotte just lost as a heel at Mania with Triple H. Gunther hasn't won under Triple H as a heel. I'm trying to think of who is the heel that had like a big spotlight type. Because I want to say the New Day, but the New Day's feud wasn't like a main spotlight type feud this year. It was a good feud and whatnot, but it wasn't like the spotlight type feuds that some of these other ones were. Like, it wasn't being talked about on Twitter the way, you know, the Seth, Roman, CM Punk, Charlotte, Tiff, Bianca, and those are. What heel has, under Triple H, really has picked up a big win at WrestleMania? Like, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. But the last match of the night, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins with Paul Heyman. A battle for Paul Heyman's soul, basically. Yeah, I know a lot of people will probably say this was the match of the night for them. But I'm a very fair person. I'm going to be honest with you. As much as I love Roman Reigns, if you listen to me, and if you've ever listened to me talk wrestling, you know I love Roman Reigns. I don't really know. Well, I know why this match was the main event. I don't really like the okay, so let me put it like this. I understand business. Okay? I will never complain about understanding business. Sometimes I will say, yeah, I don't like this about business. But I understand that Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins are the ones selling the tickets. All of these wrestlers have fans. They all help you put ass in seats. But we know that Roman Reigns and CM Punk and Seth are the marquee guys. They are your LeBron, KD, Steph Curry. So I get that they are going to be your main event. However, I'm one of them dudes that's also, I have so much respect for titles. And the fact that no title was on the line in this match really fucking annoyed me. But then also remembering that the title match kicked off the show. And it's just hard to make people stay at a show when you show them wrong. Like, it's hard to have Roman Reigns come out first. It just is. He is a closer, main eventer type of wrestler. So I do understand that. But in a perfect world, in a video game world, it's just, to me, Tiffany and Charlotte should have been the main event. Because to me, Tiffany and Charlotte should have been the main event, or co-main main event where they were at. And Gunther Jay should have been the main event, or co-main event, which switched with Charlotte Tiffany. because those are the two most important titles on the line that night. So to me, those are the two titles that should have took over the main event spots. But that being said, this was a good match. This was not my favorite match of the night, however. And the big twist at the end of the match, I also wasn't really feeling that too much. Oh, but let me go back real quick because I didn't rate. The El Grande match, I get at 3 stars. The Charlotte Tiffany match, I'm actually gonna get at a 4.5 stars. And did I miss one? No, we back on track now. Oh, and the LA Knight. Oh no, I ranked that one. I gave that one 4 stars. But this match right here between Seth and the boys, like, it was a great match. Don't get me wrong. It's what you expect a triple threat match to be. However, it was very hard for me to host Charlotte and Tiffany, knowing that they didn't have a third superstar level opponent in the match with them. So that was 1. 2, nothing really out of the ordinary happened as far as like the match itself, like the action that was happening. Really, I felt as though we were waiting for the end of the match anyways for something big to happen. Because something big had to happen because no championship was on the line. But that's where we get to the part. And I'm going to be honest with you. Everything that happened, see, if you know me, you might think like my least favorite thing was Charlotte losing because I love Charlotte so much, but I adored Tiffany Stratton also. Tiffany chipped her tooth. While I think Tiffany should have, I think Charlotte should have won that match. I have no problem with Tiffany winning that match, especially if they properly booked Tiffany after this going. Now, I don't like the Charlotte comparisons. I don't really like it when wrestlers are compared to other wrestlers because this ain't like basketball. I don't like it when it happened in basketball and football either, but you can't be the next Charlotte. You can't be the next Bianca. You can't be the next Sasha. You can't be the next Bayley. Tiffany can only be the next Tiffany. And Tiffany shouldn't. I understand Tiffany and other young women going to look up to the Baileys, the Sashas, the Charlottes, the Biancas, the Beckys. I get that. But I don't like hearing people say, you know, you're like a young Charlotte. No, she's a young Tiffany. Like, I really don't like that at all. To me, that's, and it's not that it's disrespectful because this is Charlotte motherfucking Flair. But I'm one of them people when it comes to wrestling who you might remind me of Charlotte in ways, but my mind is so separated from, oh, that's a young Charlotte Flair. It just makes no sense to me. Because to me, every time I look at these, I don't think to myself, man, Tiffany can be the next Charlotte Flair. I think to myself, man, Tiffany is one of them ones, man. Like, when Bianca, I never for 1 second thought to myself, man, Bianca like the next Charlotte. I thought to myself, bro, Bianca is on the level of a Charlotte Flair, bro. She is going to be one of the GOATs of this industry. She can compete with the likes of a Sasha, a Becky, a Bayley. You know what I'm saying? Which, shout out to Vince McMahon who gave Bianca proper and good storytelling when she beat the Baileys and the Beckys and the Sashas. And he was getting there with the Sasha, with the Charlotte, man. Vince, she was batting a band when it came to booking Bianca, bro. I really enjoyed that storytelling with the Bianca fuse with the 4 horsewomen, even though you didn't get the opportunity to tell the 4th one. And I really don't trust Triple H to tell a great story, seeing as how he just had Charlotte lose this match. And it seems as though Charlotte is just there to give people wins. And I don't like that at all because I done seen so many people get their rebirth type of run. Charlotte continues to put people over. Before she got hurt, she come back from her injury. She's still putting people over. When are we going to allow Charlotte to do what she does again and be the great, to be like, well, she already the GOAT, but like, let her, you know, people boo her. Who gives a fuck? What Charlotte can do for, bro, it's just, I don't like when we deny greatness. Nobody can do what Charlotte can do with that title. It just is what it is. It's just like nobody could do what Becky could do. It just is what it is. They are great for a reason. I hate that motherfuckers hate greatness. Anyways, back to the main event. Like I said, nothing really out of the ordinary happened in this match that really blew me away. I will say though, going into this match, the thing that happened at the end of this match didn't shock me because of my thoughts going into this match. So in the prediction show, I said, obviously you can't see it now, you're just gonna have to take my word for it, but in my prediction video that I had made that I never was able to upload, I actually picked Seth Rollins to win this match. I said I don't know if it's gonna be Seth or CM Punk, but I'm leaning Seth because Roman is not a Triple H guy. So I know Triple H ain't finna have Roman win this match. He done had Roman lose all the big matches since he done all his WrestleMania matches since he done took over. So I had no inkling. Nothing in me thought Roman was going to win this match. But I did know it was some shenanigans going to be played with Paul Heyman. And then I thought to myself, and I said this on my prediction video, bro, what if Paul Heyman just randomly turned on Roman for Seth? Because I was like, I know he going to flip on CM Punk for Roman. Like, I know that's going to happen. But then I said to myself, the big thing that happens will probably be Seth, him paying Seth a favor. Even though that shit makes no sense. Like, oh, he didn't give you a curb stomp. So fucking what? You don't owe him a favor because the nigga decided to be a decent human being, bro. Like, what the hell? So that storytelling aspect of it never really made any type of sense whatsoever to me. How we all owing niggas favors and shit now. That just made no fucking sense to me whatsoever. To me, what this ultimately came down to, and I think this is probably one of the reasons I didn't enjoy this. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. This is probably my least favorite match on the whole show. I'm gonna just keep it a buck, and that's not how it's supposed to be. And the crowd coming to life for this match really annoys me, because I understand that Seth and Roman and CM Punk bust their ass and they done earn these reactions. But everybody else on the card bust their ass also. Everybody else on the card bust their ass. They go out there and they train. They travel these roads and they take these long, like they away from their families also. To give them certain reactions and to give Roman, Seth, and CM Punk these built-in reactions, to me is just fucking disgusting behavior. And the only reason that fans continuously are allowed to get away with this shit, just like they boo Bianca just because they don't like Bianca, and they make up these weird ass oh, she is overused and we just tired of her winning. Bro, she haven't held a title in about a year and a half. Like, you only get away with this because Triple H and Vince McMahon and Stephanie and all of them are going to always come to, oh, the fans. But deep down, they know wrestlers have to be doing like mental health stuff to keep their mentals right. But they know that fans are fucking annoying and fucking ignorant. Dead ass. Like, I couldn't imagine. I always say I can't imagine being these athletes because niggas get mad because we get hate sent our way like maybe once in the blue moon. Kevin Durant got niggas coming at him every day, all day. Not just one or two niggas. Thousands of niggas is trying to compete to say the most ignorant thing to get KD's attention. Thousands of niggas is going at Charlotte every day. Thousands of niggas is going at different wrestlers and athletes every day. I couldn't imagine having to live through that shit. I just deactivate all my accounts and never have. Fuck a deactivation. I'm just not going to have any accounts, yo. I'm not going to deal with that. Social media has given people the leeway to be so cruel and disrespectful, bro. It's insane. But this was my least favorite match of the night. I'm not gonna lie to you. I can't remember the last time I had a. You know what's crazy? I'm not a Cody guy. After this match, I said, man, I can't wait till that John Cena Cody Rhodes match tomorrow. I'm not a Cody or John Cena guy. I do like heel John Cena though. I'm not really a big John Cena heel. I mean, I'm not a John Cena or Cody guy. And I found myself, as soon as this match ended, I said to myself, man, I can't wait till the main event tomorrow. Because this just didn't do it for me. And I think the crowd played a big part in that throughout the thing. Because the crowd really pissed me off with the reactions they gave Roman and them boys compared to what they basically didn't give everybody else. Charlotte and Tiffany were having a unbelievable match, and not once did the crowd start chanting, "This is awesome." Not liking Charlotte, having personal reasons why you don't like Charlotte, so that's why you choose not to give her. That is insane. This is a woman who is doing her job. She has not said anything to you niggas. She ain't hurt your parents. She ain't cussed out your parents. Nothing like that. And you niggas are truly taking this thing so deep, so personal. You niggas need help, man. Dead ass. But yeah, this was probably my least favorite match was. This was my least favorite match. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Everybody jumping out of multiple finishers and shit like that. I saw that coming already. But the CM Punk, not the CM Punk. The best part of this match was actually after the match. But Seth Rollins having Paul Heyman turn on Roman Reigns for him was such a predictable thing, especially when they was setting it up like, my tribal chief, look at him, it's perfect, my tribal chief, it's happening. And then him walking CM Punk over to Roman to hit him with, like, it just, to me, I saw all of that shit coming. But the biggest reason none of this really shocked me is because if you know Seth and you know Triple H, I don't know how any of this would ever shock anybody. Let me put this in perspective for you. It makes no fucking sense that Roman Reigns, that Paul Heyman would turn on Roman Reigns for Seth Rollins. You can convince me that he would turn on CM Punk for Roman to an extent, but it makes no sense him turning on Seth Rollins. Him turning on Roman for fucking Seth Rollins. But when you think about how much Triple H loves Seth Rollins and that Seth Rollins has always been Triple H's guy, then it makes sense. Like, that's dead ass how I view it. So this is not one of them things where it's like, oh man, this is such a shocking thing. To me, this is one of them situations where Triple H's love for for Seth Rollins outweighs what could have been any type of shock value in this situation to me. Like, it just, I'm not shocked by this at all. Even as much as I would like to act shocked, I'm just not. I even want to say, like, man, it just don't make sense. It don't make sense. But Triple H rocks with Seth, so him reinventing new ways to have Seth look great or reinvent Seth, it makes sense to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, if Roman Reigns was a Vince McMahon guy, Seth Rollins is most definitely a Triple H guy. And Seth Rollins is probably about to go on a nuclear type of run over the next couple years. Roman Reigns' heart, that nigga heart was broken after this match, bro. That shit was hilarious. But coming out of this match, I'd probably give it a 3 stars, 3.5, yeah, 3.5, a good low rating for it. I give it 3.5. Overall, night 1 of WrestleMania. The crowd, I would probably give them a 2 out of 5. Actually, I'd probably give them a 1.5 out of 5. Overall, the matches out of 5, I give it a 4 out of 5. I was very entertained. The results, not that I really, gonna get my panties in a bunch about any of the results, but it wasn't like nothing that happened where I was just like, bro, this is just fucking stupid. Like, while I think Charlotte should have won that match, I didn't say to myself after the match, like, man, this is just fucking stupid. Now, maybe that is because I've become numb to everybody beating Charlotte at WrestleMania now, understanding what this is at this point. I think one of my biggest complaints would be they so quick to try to push these young wrestlers to the top to create legacies early that they don't put them through the process that Charlotte and Sasha and Becky and all of them had to go through, basically learning how to be great on the mic, learning how to be able to be a great dance partner with all different type of wrestling styles, learning how to have the cardio and the energy to go go a 30-minute match sometimes, possibly learning how to be a main event spot type of wrestler. Like, none of that, like doing that in NXT, yeah, that's one thing, but doing that on the main roster is completely different. And I feel as though we're giving them the accolades that Charlotte and the Sashas and whatnot have, but we're not making them work. Like, it's like they so addicted to having people be better than Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley, and Becky, but they not having to really go through what Sasha, Charlotte, Becky, and Bayley had to go through to become great. And I'm not saying like, oh, they got to go through a ringer like that. I'm not saying that. But the things that those women went through to understand how to do all of the little things. Like, to me, I think people think that just because you grow, you can have a great match in the ring instantly. Oh man, this woman gonna get shot to the top. I notice that a lot. When a wrestler have a great match or a great move set or something like that, instantly it's like, oh, that's the next champion or something like that. But when you look at all of the different things that Charlotte and Sasha and Becky and Bayley do great, and the things that they have done for women's wrestling that makes them so great, I don't know. I don't agree with this rush to try to create 4 new horsewomen or things of that nature. I think I'm not a woman, so I can't say I'm speaking for women or I'm speaking from a perspective of a woman. But I just think from what I've seen, nobody was in a hurry to erase Ric Flair's legacy or Randy or Cena's or even Roman's and CM Punk's. God forbid you try to shit on his legacy. Like, I feel like men, HBK, Bret Hart, I mean, people cherish those dudes' legacies to this day. To this day, I see people get up in arms about if you try to disrespect those dudes' legacies. But it seemed to me like Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, and Bayley's legacies, like specifically Charlotte and Sasha to an extent, I feel like people are so comfortable with disrespecting those 4 women's legacies and their contributions to women's wrestling, because what they have done for wrestling is greater than some of y'all favorite male wrestlers. I don't understand this. I don't understand why the women wrestlers are not given their flowers properly. Like, you'd be hard pressed to find a woman that come along and do for wrestling what Charlotte has done. Charlotte to me is a Mount Rushmore wrestler. Obviously she a Mount Rushmore women's wrestler, but I think Charlotte is a Mount Rushmore wrestler. Like, if you take Charlotte out of women's wrestling, I don't think women wrestling become what it is. And I kind of feel like that damn near about Sasha Banks also to an extent. The difference is Charlotte and Sasha clearly had 2 different mentalities of Charlotte don't mind losing and taking losses and putting other women over. Clearly Sasha just did not like having to continuously do that, which I don't actually blame Sasha for that looking back on it, because I can only imagine how many more titles and how many more historic runs Charlotte would have had by now if she had the mentality that Sasha had. And people can be mad at Sasha. The only thing to me about Sasha is she a big fish in a very small pond on a roster in a pond that has nowhere near the type of fish that the WWE has. And so that would be my only complaint with Sasha. However, Sasha not wanting to take a back seat to certain people, I don't really like that her and CM Punk had that type of mentality, in my opinion. But every day I'm starting to see more and more why CM Punk and Sasha Banks demanded you respect their greatness. Because then you turn into Charlotte Flair, where every single wrestler is booked. See, I don't think Sasha Banks got a problem with a Bianca beating her, because Bianca is Bianca. You can look at Bianca, you can see her work and say that that's going to be a future GOAT. Probably don't have a problem with Rhea beating her, even though I said this multiple times, I don't think Rhea is on the level of a lot of the different women, but I think much like, see, that's what I was saying. I don't want Tiffany being her rushed booking to turn her into a Rhea Ripley. Somebody who get these fake cheers because people just don't like Charlotte, so they're going to cheer Tiff. but Tiff never really developed the important things that you need to develop to become great. Because being great is not just how great your matches are. Being great is what you contribute to the division and to the women's wrestling also. And what Charlotte's matches and what she has done for other women in the women's wrestling is why I said she is the GOAT. Rushing Tiffany to be champion and getting her these wins over Charlotte, that's exactly what they did with Rhea. And Rhea to this day to me provides nothing. And I'm not saying this disrespectfully. I don't know what it is that Rhea has done for women's wrestling while she was at her. When she held the title, Triple H just fed her. He just basically fed her. What's the word I'm looking for? Squash feuds. She basically squashed everybody she feuded with until Liv came around. And it's funny that Liv is no longer in the title picture, and Liv should be, but Rhea is, and Rhea shouldn't be in this match at Mania. But I from the moment she lost to Io, I said, the first thing I said after she lost that match was, Triple H is going to find a way to put Rhea in this match. And it happened. So, I don't know, man. When Triple H loves somebody, bro, you can clearly see how he books them. I don't think that's a shocker whatsoever, but nonetheless, I enjoyed WrestleMania, man. Shout out to all the competitors. I got to give this match I did. I said a 2.5 star. No, I said 3. Night 1 of Mania. Like I said, I give it a 4 out of... I think I give it a 3.5. 3.5. 4 seems very high compared to some of the great WrestleManias. That's really what it is. I don't want to disrespect this one, but I'm disrespecting the other ones if I give it too high a score. So I give it a 3.5. I can't wait for tomorrow night, though. With that being said, though, I appreciate you for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. You could be anything in this world, so choose to be kind to somebody today. Like, subscribe, share. Tell a friend and tell a friend. I appreciate you. I fuck with you. I love you. Saint out.
You're only good because I showed the world how to be great. Before you came along, these people loved me. I was the man of the people.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy. Scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty ran track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.